Did you know that originally there was a mirror in this frame? And that before appearing in Friends, this couch was in storage, forgotten in the Warner Brothers basement? And do you know the reason why Monica's apartment was purple? Let's dive into the world of the Friends set design and props magic.
Whoopah!
Can you imagine the gang hanging out in a diner instead of a coffee shop? Believe it or not, but back in the early 90s, coffee shops weren't a common thing. Like, at all. And the studio bosses were afraid the show would look too hip. On the other hand, putting 6 friends at a diner would turn the series into a Seinfeld copy. Yep, there was already a sitcom with friends hanging out at a diner. Plus, it would be really tricky filming 6 people sitting and chatting at a table. So David Crane and Marta Kaufman pushed things and insisted everything should happen at Central Perk. And they were pretty creative about what it should look like. Their idea was to have it feel like it was kind of like a living room, hangout space, not the typical 90s generic internet cafe coffee shop. Yep, that's why Central Perk had that famous velvet couch.
Gunther! These guys are trying to take our seat.
We already told you that the beloved couch was found in the basement of Warner Brothers, but there's another cool fact about Central Perk, and it has to do with the entrance. Like, have you ever wondered why it was located on a diagonal? The set designer John Schaffner brilliantly explained that.
We made a decision to put the door up here on a diagonal. Pow, through those doors, straight to the camera. And everybody had to physically turn and look.
Pretty smart and artistic, right? But because at the start nobody knew that Friends would become a super hit, Central Perk had some budget limitations. Did you notice that in season 1 there was no actual exterior visible from the cafe windows? There was a partially frosted window that did not look onto a street outside. That developed in season 2 when the set moved from stage 5 to stage 24. So they had room to film the street behind the window in Central Perk. The Central Perk interior changed too. Flowers, posters, the artwork on the walls, all of it changed every 3 or 4 episodes. However, because everything was the same sort of style, it kinda united the space artistically. In 2019, one of the artists who made those paintings created an exhibition of his 10 years' work. Isn't it insane that so many things changed in the background of the coffee house and we didn't even really notice? But it did feel like the place was alive. More than that, Central Perk's look inspired so many coffee shops today. Who knows, maybe coffee shops are so popular now because of Friends? Could be. At least that's what the set designer believes.
I definitely think that the coffee house on Friends sort of influenced our culture, where people like to meet and hang around.
Thank you.
And now, of course, 25 years later, there's a coffee house on every corner, and I'm surprised how many of them have overstuffed chairs.
And we agree with that. Now, ever wonder why Monica's apartment was purple?
Pretty! It's so pretty! And look, and it's purple!
That was also John Schaffner, who designed this famous set and suggested they paint the walls purple. And frankly speaking, the showrunners were really anxious about this idea. Well, at least at first. But John's point was that color is really important in terms of establishing a show's identity. So when the audience switched to Friends on their TV, they saw purple walls and could immediately identify the series. Smart move, huh? Another challenge with creating Monica's apartment was the style. That place was really eclectic, and the reason behind that is simple. Monica wasn't rich. She couldn't afford a matching set of dining room chairs, for example, but at the same time she had a really good eye and was meticulous and creative. So Monica's apartment needed to represent that. That's why the set designers and decorators rummaged in thrift stores and flea markets to get all the furniture to create the apartment's iconic look. Another interesting detail was this door. Can you believe that at first, nobody from the showrunners knew what it was meant for?
We put a door all the way up this hallway, and we really didn't say where it went to. I said, why don't we just wait and see where the story's taken?
Isn't that crazy for such a massive production? I mean, it was only in the 8th season that they revealed what was actually behind the mystery door.
Oh my God!
Can we say that John Schaffner was kind of predictable? Or maybe lazy? You decide. But the cool thing is that they managed to use this set design element to show us more about Monica. Yes, Monica was always obsessed with cleaning. But just like any real person, she had her dark, dark alter ego.
You're messy.
According to the set director Greg Grande, that episode was really fun because in rehearsals, the closet was definitely not that full. The whole joke was that the decorators kept filling and filling and filling it in between takes. So Matthew Perry's reaction was very real when he saw that mess. It worked out well. Can't argue with that. Another thing that worked out well was the iconic element on the door of Monica's apartment, the frame around the peephole. I bet you didn't know that originally it had a mirror in it. Yep. Before filming started, somebody from the crew accidentally broke that mirror, but the producers liked the way the frame looked and agreed to leave it as is. Can you imagine any other end shot for Friends? I can't either. So God bless the guy who broke that mirror. Now, what about Chandler and Joey's apartment? Hands down, it was way easier to design since it was, the boys' apartment.
Rach, hey, it's fine. You're at Joey's.
Really?
Yeah, look.
So the set designers could have some fun and play with the audience in that space. Like, remember the Etch-a-Sketch on the door? Gosh, they went crazy leaving funny messages and Easter eggs on it. For example, in the episode where the apartment was robbed, you could see some writing on the board. Thanks for all your stuff. And you could also see Chandler's apology, which he wrote there after he kissed Joey's girlfriend. Sometimes the decorators got bored and left some meaningless drawings there, like with these fish, or with this island, a man in a boat and a shark, or with a UFO, or with King Kong, cause why not? But sometimes the decorators used the board to honor a tragic event. There was a 9/11 tribute to the NY Fire Department. I was looking for something that could work and that felt like the right piece. The best part about it was we had one of the crew members on the show who was actually really good at doing that Etch-a-Sketch. Yep. Every week, they would create a new drawing and an in-house story that pertained to that week for some reason or another. It wasn't necessarily for any story point, but maybe something that had happened in rehearsal. Here's the very last doodle from the final Friends episode. It pictured people climbing to the top of a mountain. It looks kind of symbolic, doesn't it? But don't think that the guys who were responsible for those doodles had nothing else to do. Just think about this for a second. Everything that the actors touched, grabbed, and held was designed by someone, by unknown heroes, from the smallest things like coffee cups or keys to large objects like this dollhouse. Everything was created in the prop room.
Prop divas. We're straight back, coming into the prop room, see what it looks like.
The shelves inside that room were filled with hundreds of things. It's just insane to imagine how many things these people created over 10 years.
A clipboard, a briefcase, a cup of, in this case, a cup of coffee, the food they're eating, the magazine they're reading, anything the actor touches, she has to find and make it just perfect for that character and for the scene.
Just to give you an idea of how hard this job was, here's a funny and crazy story. Do you remember the episode where Phoebe made a dollhouse? The prop designers had to make 6 copies of it because it was meant to catch fire in the series, and it would be impossible to film that scene in only one take.
Oh, fire! There's a fire! Fire!
Rewatching the show won't ever be the same knowing that. Hey, fan of Friends?
So do we! So do we!
Then check out these videos too. We're sure you're gonna love them. Thanks for watching and take care, guys.